Hi, UnDaoDu here, and I want to talk about the Foundups Tokenization Framework and how it could be used for changing our entire broken system we call capitalism into social beneficial capitalism by creating kind of a UBI that matures over the development of projects, which usually take between a 5 to 10 year period. We can look at the blockchain, we can look at all these things, or we can look at Bitcoin as a great example. Now, the cool thing about Bitcoin is it has all the data associated with the track record, and we can actually track it, and we can actually look at data from all the other cryptocurrencies and actually mirror it and create a lot of parallels in the development of these tokens. Now, how does Bitcoin work? And let me explain it really simple in very simplistic terms. Now, Bitcoin does not work like this, but in a way, it models like this. This is kind of like an imitation. And the framework that I've invented and created and I want to get built, and the problem is I'm not a developer, so I need coders to come together and help me build this. This is completely open source, what I'm building, just like Bitcoin was. No one owns Foundups, right? Ultimately, Foundups and the framework that I've developed is to usher in the fifth age, which was prophesied by the Mayans some 5,250 years ago. Yeah, you could say I'm UnDaoDu and I'm back to help usher it in, but I can't do it without your help. But with that said, let's show Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know what Bitcoin is, literally this is what it is. And this is kind of, in a way, roughly speaking, how it works. There is just 21 million Bitcoin. There will never be more than that. That's it. And ultimately, that drives scarcity. There's 3 million left. And you can think of it this way, even though this isn't correct, it kind of drops into a pool that then is available to miners who maintain the network, miners running the PCs that create the hash power, and it goes to the network. And us participating in Bitcoin, we're all part of this network. So if you got a wallet, you're part of this network. If you're moving funds back and forth, if you're e-commerce, all that is part of the network. So this is it. And you could look at the pool here that's available, and eventually it's going to run out. Okay, so let's look at Bitcoin real quick and a little bit historical data. So you can think of Bitcoin, there were 7 divisions. It started at division 7, the lowest division, no measurable value. Remember the guy who bought a pizza for 1,000 Bitcoin, right? Because that's when it was division 6, less than $1. And he's like, I want a pizza, right? He spent $1,000 or however it was, $500, whatever it was, 500 Bitcoin. And he's like kicking himself in the butt now, right? So Bitcoin actually very quickly in the course of 5-6 years actually reached division 1. There was some pumping and stuff like that, but it's dropped down a little bit, and now it's division 2. But ultimately, we all know, based on the law of diffusion innovation, the law of customer adoption, that this orange line right here is Bitcoin. And right now, we're just here. We're at the early adoption. It took 10 years for Bitcoin to reach the 13.5%. That's early adoption. So we have the data. So we can use this data to create a new framework that exactly works like Bitcoin, but it's ubiquitous on any blockchain, right? And yeah, so let's look at that. So instead of having it set up this way, right? Here is SocD token, right? Social distancing token. There's only 17 million. I don't get to hold them. You don't get to hold them. Basically, unless I participate in social distancing, I only get them. It's a division 7, which means right now, just like Bitcoin in 2009, in 2020, it has no value. But by 2025, by 2030, 10 years from now, hell, if social distancing is something that we're going to have to do for the next 5 to 10 years, and we can create a value proposition and a reward system to encourage people to do it and reward those with a token that works just like Bitcoin, why wouldn't it be worth anything like Bitcoin, especially since it is a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, and it will be ultimately tied to Bitcoin. So as those people practice social distance, share in this pot, and unlike the network, I structure it a little differently. I have 80% going to the stakeholders, 20% going to the network, okay? So if I was to look at this division, I have come up with this whole kind of breakdown, because some people will social distance but really won't be practicing social distance. And the way that the solution, it's a very simple solution, works, something called a SonicID, SonicSigniture, a little wristband that you can wear around, okay? Which is a little pingable thing, right? That devices can measure like where you are, who you are, and you control. This is your private key. No one has access to this data except for you. But the only thing is the alert thing will be pushed out to your public key, which is tied to that you can access through your private key. So that's how kind of the blockchain component ties to it. If I'm actually pretty doing good social distancing, right? Then I could earn more of the pool. If I'm actually amazing at social distancing, I'm not going out, I'm working real well, then I can earn up to this. Now, DAOs and other things, I'm not going into it, are all part of this. It's part of it. The network is an airdrop. So this network is based on where if you are participating in an area that has high COVID saturation, and again, we'll have that data, then your social distance is very important. So you will earn additional up to 16, 13% on that. If you're like there and you're not practicing it, and again, you're still getting tokens, you're getting something, and people, they'll want to have the tokens, right? Then ultimately you'll get a small amount. So if you're cheating the system, you'll get a small amount. If you're actually participating, you'll get a larger amount. So in the long term, you'll reward. The fund here is basically how the token becomes a stable coin, and I'm not going to go into that detail right now. So it's really really simple, behind it. That's it. There's a little bit of an app I can show you, but I'm not going to waste my time. What's important is this is the framework. This is it. This is the Foundups Tokenization Framework. It can work on any. Basically, it can sustain itself on any blockchain. Everything from Bitcoin to Ethereum to EOS to Trezor, you name it. XYO, all these blockchains can ultimately be part of, the solution. So it can launch on multiple ones, and there could be multiple, tokens on different things that can participate. There could be, so it's completely ubiquitous. And the simple fact is, unless we do this, unless we get people, empower them, and deal with that, we're going to have risks. So this is a very simple solution.